Kansas City Sports Update Studios. Welcome to Kingdom Radio, where we talk about all things Kansas City Chiefs. Brought to you by Arrowhead Update. Join Chris and Richard on iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, Player FM, CastBox, and all third-party applications. Check us out on Facebook platforms such as Kansas City Sports Update and Arrowhead Update. And if you cannot find us there, Google or search Kingdom Radio and Kansas City Chiefs, and you will find us. Welcome to the Kingdom.
How are we doing, Kansas City? It is Sunday, July 14th, and we are here to talk Chiefs. So welcome to Kingdom Radio. We have a lot to discuss tonight, and I have a fan from the Pittsburgh-Steelers here tonight. He builds custom bikes, custom cars. I mean, this guy can pretty much do anything. And with me tonight, I have Jason-Nightenhelser. How are we doing tonight, Jason?
Awesome.
Good deal, man. I'm happy to have you on the show, and I'm excited to talk football with you. So, with that being said, like I said, he is a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, and we have had a pretty great rivalry with the Steelers the last 5 years. And so it's kind of nice to get an outside perspective here in Chiefs Kingdom about the upcoming season and what we have in store with the Chiefs. So I'm going to start off by asking you, Jason, what is your prediction for the Kansas City Chiefs? And we're going to talk about your Steelers, but ultimately this is a Chiefs broadcast. But I want to hear your prediction for the Chiefs in this upcoming season.
I think it's Super Bowl or bust. AFC Championship game's got to be there. I mean, you're looking at a 12-win season. I don't think there's no expectations any lower than that. I mean, 13-3 would be good, but 12-4 is where I see that team falling. Being number one seed, AFC, that's hard enough alone. I mean, you guys got the Chargers chasing you, the Patriots out there doing their thing. Who knows what happened to the Steelers, Browns. The AFC South is a mix, but I think the Chiefs have the chance this year with the talent they have to go right to the Super Bowl. The losses you guys will take this year, I don't think will be like, oh my God, dramatic, but overlooked maybe.
So some of the teams that you think that we'll lose to will more than likely be teams like Houston or teams that are on the outside looking in?
Yeah, I think you guys will overlook a team and be looking for the big team ahead of them. I mean, that's what happens to teams is like as fast as you guys got so good, you guys want to be the best. To be the best, we beat the best. So, the Chargers, you guys are going to be highlighting that schedule twice this year, wanting to kick that team's butt, and there's a good reason. I don't know. Do you guys play the Patriots this year?
Yeah, we do play the Patriots in New England.
I mean, that's a game that's televised. I guarantee it.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that game is going to be amazing. You guys are going to have that marked on the schedule. I mean, everybody that plays the Patriots, yeah, they're awesome, but we hate them. So that's a game we all want to win. Steelers, Chiefs, whoever it is, we root for that team all day.
Yeah, and hey, let's keep it real. And I touched base with this on Kansas City Chiefs or Kansas City Sports Update webpage, and I posted that play with the Dolphins and the Patriots last year, where the Dolphins had the last second play and ran it in for a touchdown.
Comeback,
and I asked Chiefs Kingdom. I was like, you cannot tell me that you were on your feet going crazy for that play.
Yeah.
So that was a lot of fun, and I really like seeing the Patriots go down. And I'm with you on that one. That's going to be a tough road. Look, it's not going to be easy here for the Chiefs to go through the Chargers or the Patriots or even the Steelers. We don't know what's going to happen in some of these divisions, and I think that's a more scary thing for an opposing division is to play a division like yours and not know what's going to come of it. And so that can be a thing where we can have the Browns and the Steelers come out of the North and have the Chiefs and the Chargers come out of the West and have the two wild card teams come out of each of these divisions. And to me, that's scary. I'm not sure I want two teams from each of our divisions going into this playoff scenario.
The Browns we don't know what they are yet, and the Steelers, not to toot my own horn, but that's a team you don't want to play the Steelers in the playoffs. Like that's the Patriots. You don't want. I know I'm a Steelers fan, but I know as a fan of football that if I was any other fan and the Steelers were coming to my house in the playoffs, I'm gonna be nervous.
Oh yes, and look, by all means, be biased.
Yeah.
You're a Steelers fan.
I'm proud.
Be biased, be a Steelers fan because you're right. We don't want to play the Steelers in the playoffs. Now, on the other hand, would we like to beat the Steelers in the playoffs?
Yes.
Absolutely, yes. And I feel like you feel the same way about the Chiefs.
Right now. Like if we beat the Chiefs, that's a feat. Beat the Chiefs, you beat the Patriots, you beat the Chargers. I feel like any team in the AFC South right now is going to be a feat. There's a lot of good football in the AFC. It's exciting this year,
and it really is. So let's turn the page here and let's take it here. We would love to beat each other in playoffs, but we don't really want to play each other in the playoffs. So would you say that was there a certain disappointment level for you and the Steelers to not play the Chiefs this year with a rivalry as good as it's been?
It's been a fun rivalry. We talked earlier. The two teams play awesome together. It's a playoff game in its own. The Steelers are the defending team. We've been good for the last 10 years. The Chiefs want to knock us down a peg. The Chiefs are up and coming. They want to take out anybody, and you guys got the talent to do it. So not seeing that game this year, I don't think there's been a deficit in the last couple of years when we've lost by more than one play or like one score, 7-3 or whatever it may be. I think all the games have been relatively close. You just miss games like that. That's what football fans want to see. I want to see my team beat the best team.
Right.
It's fun wall up in a bad team, but you want to see what your team can do against a playoff team, so you feel better going into the playoffs.
Absolutely. You're prepping yourself for the bigger stage, playing some of these top-tier teams. And so I want to ask you, this is outside of a personal level because I'm a big Chiefs fan, but I have to take myself emotionally, out of a standpoint and look at it in a real aspect. What were you thinking about Patrick Mahomes when the Chiefs played the Steelers last season? That was the first game where everybody was like, this kid is something real. 6 touchdowns. Yeah. But it's just, I guess I want to know from your perspective as far as a team who's kind of had the Chiefs' number for a long time. What did you think of Mahomes and seeing that after an Alex Smith-led team and we couldn't touch you?
Yeah. Alex Smith is a great quarterback. I think he will play great, hopefully sometime again. He did great with what he had. Mm-hmm. Patrick Mahomes is the next level. He's a highlight reel. Every game he can show you a highlight of something. The no-look pass is amazing. What he sees on the field is amazing. I think you guys came to Pittsburgh. Not only was it a shock to the team to see this kid play football, Pittsburgh had no clue. Is he a pocket passer? Is he going to run around? How do you mock up a game against a guy you haven't played yet? There's video, but until you play that team and for real see how good these kids are, I think first half was amazing for the Chiefs. I thought you guys put the Steelers on their heels and just kept it rocking. I think it was a 21-point lead at halftime.
Right.
I think Pittsburgh is like, oh no, this is the real deal. Like
this isn't Alex Smith.
Yeah, no, this team wants to score points. And not that the Chiefs are ever boring, but I never remember too many high-scoring Chiefs games with Alex Smith being quarterback. It seemed like a clock management type guy. As long as we got a lead, we're okay. More of the safe play.
Yeah, he was definitely a pedestrian. He would rather not lose the game than win the game. And I think that was kind of like the monkey on the back for the Chiefs.
Yep.
So, excuse me. With that being said, so we've talked about the Chiefs. We've talked about, the comparison and how we would like to see each other, in the regular season, not so much in the postseason. But let me ask you this. If you could bring any player in from Kansas City to the Pittsburgh Steelers outside of Patrick Mahomes to help kind of boost your team in the direction that you would like to see it go, who would it be?
Wow. Well, I'm a Steelers fan, so you know what that means. It's defense first.
There we go.
It's not fair to take Earl Thomas since he just got there.
Honey Badger.
The Honey Badger.
Honey
I'm sorry.
Badger, yes.
And I know that'd be a wonderful pickup, but I think I'd have to go Tyreek Hill. With us losing Antonio Brown, Juju's great. He'll do good things, but I think a Tyreek Hill opposed from Juju-Smith-Schuster would be amazing in the NFL. So it's the league we play. It's a passing league now. We want to see 5,000 yards. So you got to have that guy, and Tyreek can take the top off of anything. I mean, that's no slam towards your tight end. I mean, he's amazing too, but I take the receiver.
Tyreek Hill, I mean, you got the fastest guy in the league.
The cheetah.
The cheetah, yes, the cheetah. And we got the cheetah challenge out there that I keep hearing about. And honestly, I don't even really know what that's about, but I figured I'd mention that.
Check that out.
Yeah, definitely have to check it out. But, that was one of the questions. I know you real well, but at this point, with the Chiefs, I know you follow the Chiefs because of me, and I follow the Steelers because of you. I feel like I know the Steelers better than any other team outside of the Chiefs because of you. So I was interested to hear your pick there because it could go all over the board, like you said. The Steelers are a defense-heavy team, but, I mean, can I blame you one bit for pulling Tyreek
This
over?
kid does it in two different fields. He does it on the special teams, and he does it on the receiving. A defender is going to give you the best on the defending, and that's amazing. But what Tyreek Hill offers to any team is amazing. He can catch a kick and go the distance. He can take a pass and turn it into a miracle. Like, he's the guy. The two youngsters you guys got throwing and catching, that's a duo we'll hear about for the next 30, 40 years.
And I think that's something, too, that if you look at any great quarterback in the league, he's either one, like Ben-Roethlisberger, produced great receivers and turned their careers into something bigger than it would have been if they were been in any other franchise. I think that holds the same with quarterbacks who have that franchise receiver. Look at Joe Montana and Jerry Rice.
Yep.
Troy Aikman and
Michael
Irvin, yes. And now, you have a combination here with Patrick Mahomes and Tyreek Hill. I mean, you have the fastest guy in the league with the best moves, with the best arm and biggest cannon.
Yeah, I mean, the sky's the limit. And I know that's said so often, but those two guys could put stupid numbers up. And, there's other guys on that team, too. That's what's crazy. There's other guys that can take the top off, catch a pass. It's going to be a fun year for the Chiefs. It really will be.
Can I ask you this? And this is off script here. This is really something that I'm kind of going to catch you off guard here. Would you say, as a fan of another team, and look, Chiefs Kingdom, I also want you to know that we're talking with a man who really knows football from all aspects, coaching, playing. He can look at it as a GM aspect. I mean, this guy really knows football. So would you say right now in our current NFL, with the direction that the Chiefs have gone in, do you think a lot of teams in the AFC are playing catch-up and are trying to compete with the Chiefs and the Chiefs only because they know that that's the top talent in the league?
Yeah, I don't know the stat, but you got me questioning it. I bet you the Chiefs scored more points than a lot of teams did last year. Every game I caught on the Chiefs, it was a high-scoring game, win or lose.
Yes.
It seemed like there was a lot of points being played. And that's not a bad thing. If
Yes.
your quarterback's on the field that long and he can put that many points up, that's amazing.
They were the third highest scoring team in NFL history last year.
I knew that stat was going to come. Like, that was big, and I'm thinking, yeah, if you want to play the Chiefs, you can have good defense, but you need to be able to put points up because even if the Chiefs get the ball 10 minutes, they're going to put points on you.
Yes.
So if you can't match those points, sorry, this is the wrong game for you. Like,
Yep.
I believe the running game playing against the Chiefs is going to be hard. You're going to have to pass.
Yeah.
If the Honey Badger wants to shine this year, this will be a season for it. If you're going to beat the Chiefs, you're going to beat them in the air, and you have to take their air game away.
Yeah, and I gotta say here, this is one thing that I know the NFL doesn't know this yet, and it's just it's like Devin Bush with the Steelers. I'm gonna tell Chiefs Kingdom right now, Devin Bush for the Steelers. This guy is a franchise guy, just like Juan Thornhill. And then that's why I want to touch base on Juan Thornhill because we're talking about the secondary here. But I want to give I also want to give Pittsburgh their props on going and getting Devin Bush because that's a huge deal, and they have Watt as well. They have a formidable defense that can carry them to the Super Bowl on top of what they have on offense. So really, Pittsburgh's looking good. But we talked about the Honey Badger. The Chiefs brought in Juan Thornhill from the University of Virginia. Juan Thornhill is a complete football player. He would be like a Troy Polamalu for the Chiefs. When you watch this guy's highlights, he is a safety that I see in the backfield more than any safety I've ever seen play football. He has more tackles for a loss than you could ever imagine. He played 2 seasons for the University of Virginia, and he had 10 interceptions. And I can't remember how many tackles for a loss. But he is a formidable... He's a mirror image of the Honey Badger. So you talk about the Honey Badger having a season, and taking over and doing his thing, but there is another compliment to him in Juan Thornhill, and they're a mirror image of each other. So I guess, I want to throw that out there as far as the defensive aspect of the Kansas City Chiefs is. There is a lot of pieces of this puzzle that nobody's seen yet. And Juan Thornhill is one of those guys that he's a mirror image of the Honey Badger. So with that being said, I guess on an outsider looking in, what would you think of having 2 Honey Badgers in the Chiefs secondary? And then I want to say this as well. We have Kendall Fuller that we brought in from Washington. We brought in Bashad Breeland from Washington. They both played on the same side before Josh Norman came to Washington. So they have that connection as well. So they're comfortable at cornerback. And then we have a rookie who's going to complement, the Honey Badger. What would you say that secondary is going to look like?
I would say shut up and let's talk about offense again. You got Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce. Like, no one cares what your Chiefs defense does. As long as they're scoring points, they're winning games. But on your question, yeah, the Honey Badger is phenomenal. When he's healthy and doing his thing, it's amazing. If you get someone to compliment him and can do what he can do, even at 80% what he can do, that's havoc. Because now you're taking the number 1, number 2 target away. Okay, throw it to number 3 or number 4. That's fine.
Yep, and with my big thing with the safeties, and this was huge with Troy Polamalu as well. When you have a group of safeties, they take that are ball hawks and they'll drop in under coverage, that'll go stop the run, that are in the backfield, that can get to the quarterback. Your cornerbacks are never left on an island, ever. So it takes the pressure off of the talent that might be lacking in the cornerback position, which will make them thrive more as well. And the linebackers are really good at doing that as well. The linebacking core is kind of, just the tier before the safeties, and they drop back into coverage and can take the pressure off of the cornerbacks as well. And I feel like that Pittsburgh's defense and Kansas City's defense are a lot alike. We're building them the same ways. Like, speed wins. You want a bunch of versatile guys that can really be all over the football field.
You got to have speed. That's the way the games go. I mean, we just talked about Tyreek Hill being the fastest guy.
Yes.
There's other guys coming in the league now. They're going to compete with that fastest guy thing. I want to be the fastest guy. Well, if the offenses are getting faster, defense is going to get faster.
Yep.
And that's what we want to see. We want to see that.
Yeah. And here's the thing is, I watched an interview in Oakland. And what's their...
I'm sorry.
I know. What's their coach's name again?
Gosh. What's that? Is it Gruden?
Oh, that's
Gruden.
it. Gruden. Yeah, Gruden. That's it. I don't know how I would ever forget that, but I would love to forget that every day.
Steelers hate the Raiders too, guys.
Right, exactly. So John Gruden, there was an interview with John Gruden during the OTAs. And John Gruden said they are literally keeping up with the Kansas City Chiefs. And that's what their goal is to find a way to keep up with the Chiefs, which...
So, are we allowed to free speak right here?
Yes.
There's no way. Not with Derek Carr. You're not keeping up with the Chiefs. This kid better come out and surprise everybody in the NFL world next year if he thinks he's got a chance to run with the Chiefs.
So, let me ask you this, and this is coming from a Steelers fan, and I know this for you, it's not rubbing salt in a wound because you see the bigger aspect of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Do you think Antonio Brown is really the answer for the Raiders to get him over the hump?
Let's be real. Antonio Brown is arguably the best receiver we've seen in the last 5-10 years.
Okay.
Numbers don't lie. He's done it. As a Steelers fan, I cried when he left.
Mm-hmm.
As a Steelers fan, I know we build receivers. Ben-Roethlisberger builds receivers.
Yes.
Hate him or not, Roethlisberger's built a lot of guys. He made a lot of people good. Antonio Brown's a 6th-round pick. The Raiders could have picked him 1 through 5, and they didn't.
Mm-hmm.
He's there now. Let's look at numbers. Do you think Derek Carr's got the same numbers Ben Roethlisberger does?
There's no comparison between these two quarterbacks.
I feel the same way.
We're talking a tier 1 or 2 quarterback in Ben Roethlisberger compared to like a tier 8 quarterback in Carr.
I can't believe Carr's still the quarterback for this team. I thought when they traded for Antonio Brown that they were going to go get a quarterback in the draft or pre-draft, trade for somebody. I thought there was more coming. My name's Jason. If I'm wrong on this, blast me all you want after the season, but I do not think this is going to work out well for Oakland.
Hey, and that's one of those things that this seemed like more of a marketing scheme because you look at Gruden, you look at Antonio Brown coming in, you look at them moving to Las Vegas, being the Raiders of Las Vegas with all that showboat in the organization. Like it's a good marketing scheme, but I feel like at the end of the day, this might be a recipe for disaster.
And people don't want to see Antonio Brown doing shenanigans. We want to see him playing football, catching one-handed catches, sideline stunts. I miss Antonio Brown being Antonio Brown on the field. As a football fan in general, you had to watch what this kid did. It's Patrick Mahomes of the receivers. Like, he could do any catch. He could catch over anybody. You got to watch those guys. We really take those guys for granted because there's so many in the league right now. But those guys are human highlight reels anytime the ball's thrown their way. I hope Antonio Brown does good as a Steelers fan. I hope he does awesome. Not as good as Juju, but awesome.
Hey, and that's one of those things that's like the Kansas City Chiefs cutting Eric Berry this year. It breaks your heart, but at the end of the day, you understand it's a business, and it doesn't last forever, and you have to do what is the smartest move for the franchise for the future. And just like Eric Berry, Antonio Brown wasn't the future, and there's a lot to see in Juju-Smith-Schuster.
Yeah, can he do it?
And hey, I think he can. And so we're going to move on here. I want to ask you something. This is a really touchy question for the Steelers, but I think Chiefs Kingdom would be interested in this as well. I want to know what's going on with Ryan Shazier. What's the progress there? This is an extremely interesting story, and we just touched base on Eric Berry, and that ties right into a Ryan Shazier story. And I really think that this is a story that's grabbed the heart of every sports fan who knows anything about American sports. So kind of break Ryan Shazier down for us. Let us know what's going on with him.
Shazier got married this offseason. That was big.
That's awesome.
So that's pretty cool.
Yes.
I follow him on Instagram, and it's amazing to see what this guy's done. The smile on his face is getting bigger, and I think that's inspiration for anybody. A couple days ago, I watched a video on this guy jumping on a 4-foot block. A year ago, he was paralyzed from the waist down. I don't know. Modern science, miracles, something's working for this guy. The sky's the limit. He posted this week that he wants to still join the Hall of Fame. Well, he'll have to play football again. So then he goes and tweets that the same doctors that told him he would never walk told him he'll be playing football next year. If he steps on the field, any NFL fan in the world is going to be excited. It's amazing. This guy was paralyzed. I don't know how else to, that's bad. That takes his whole career away, his whole life.
It's life-altering.
Yes. We don't see that injury in football too often. We don't see those game-ending injuries, and that's good. The football's getting safer. We're taking away some of the crazy hits that, as a fan, we want to see, but as a fan, we also want our favorite player coming back tomorrow.
Right.
So
yes.
When I saw Shazier leave that game, and that's teary-eyed stuff. That's one of our best, and he's calling for help. football players don't call for help. They get up, they hop off to the side of the field, and they give you a thumbs up either way.
Right.
Seeing that guy helpless there, I mean, that sucks. That's horrible. Like, I don't wish that upon Raiders, Bengals, any of them teams I don't like. I don't wish that upon no player.
Yes.
But to see Ryan going positive with this, like, just the inspiration this guy's done. Like, he's still a young man, and to see the work he's put in to get where he's at after someone told him that he couldn't walk again, and now they're talking he could play football next year. If this man steps on the football field, the skies are going to part, rainbows are going to come down.
Oh, yeah.
I don't care what team we're playing, Chiefs or not, we're going to kick that team's butt. Like, that's a bad game to be playing the Steelers when he steps on the field again, I believe.
I absolutely agree. And Chiefs Kingdom, if you don't understand that, I don't think you've been a fan for too long, because when I think of the Shazier situation, I think of another man that wore the number 58, and it wasn't the same situation, an on-field injury. But before Derek Thomas passed away, he was in a car accident that paralyzed him from the waist down, and he was never going to walk again. So for Ryan Shazier to have that type of life-altering injury and to have the progress that he's had and to come back from that and really have a chance to come back and be an asset to the Pittsburgh Steelers and just to step foot on a football field ever again, that is a huge deal. And this man deserves his respect. That's like the comeback player of a lifetime. That is not a comeback player of the year. That's not even fair. You don't disrespect a man in that scenario. That's a comeback player of a lifetime. So I really want to give Ryan Shazier his respect. That man absolutely deserves it, and I hope he makes a full recovery and steps back out on the football field as soon as possible. So I want to ask you, Jason, the future of Ben Roethlisberger, because this has been a staple for the Pittsburgh Steelers for a long time, and he's took a lot of heat. I will be the first to admit that I've put him, under heat, because I wasn't quite sure what's going on in the Pittsburgh Steelers organization. There's been a lot of question marks. But a lot of that's been cleared up since Antonio Brown's departure and Le'Veon Bell's departure as well. So tell me, with Juju-Smith-Schuster, James Conner, where are we at with Ben Roethlisberger? Because this is a big deal in Chiefs Kingdom, and I know everybody in Chiefs Kingdom understands that, because this is a potential playoff team, somebody that has played us amazing for an entire franchise history.
It's been great games.
So please tell me, where's Roethlisberger? Is this guy ever going to stop 5,000 yards last season?
I hope not. I really do. I mean, I don't want to see a Steelers offense with no Ben Roethlisberger.
Mm-hmm.
A couple years ago, we lost Le'Veon Bell to money issues. This year, we lose Antonio Brown. And these players hurt. I mean, these are Hall of Fame guys. These are guys that are going to go do big things in their new teams. To lose those guys is really, heart-wrenching. But I thought about it this offseason. Who would I rather lost, Ben Roethlisberger or Antonio Brown? I've seen Pittsburgh throw kids in the receiving spot and turn them into number ones. Mike Wallace, Antonio Brown, Emmanuel Sanders, Hines Ward. These guys were not first-round, first-pick draft picks. Those guys were fall mid-draft. We'll pick them up. We're going to make something. You can give that credit to Pittsburgh. You can give that credit to Ben Roethlisberger. At the end of the day, my decision is you can't get a quarterback like that. As a Chiefs fan, you know where I'm coming from with that.
Right.
Patrick Mahomes is a diamond in the rough because it's that hard to get that guy.
Right.
Ben's took us to 3 Super Bowls. We walked away with 2 of them. Multiple Pro Bowls. The guy's tied Drew Brees a couple years ago with yards. Last year, he led the league in yards. A lot of interceptions, but we're finding out a lot of those were forced to Antonio Brown. I don't want to talk bad Antonio Brown, but those guys are divas. We see those guys turn into divas. It's been at least since football. Receivers are just those guys. I want my ball.
It's like a Marcus Peters.
Yeah, and I don't hate on those guys because I love the respect they have for the game. I love that they want that.
Yep.
But at the same time,
they belong.
It's okay.
They belong in California.
Yeah, let them go to California. Let them go. Yep. So, but I don't know. Roethlisberger looks like he's having fun in the offseason. He's had the guys out there. The young squad's been at his house. They partied. he's been to all the OTAs. This is the first time in a long time that every Pittsburgh Steeler from the team showed up to every voluntary event. I think that says a lot about our team. Like, we're trying to find who we are right now. We lost our big faces. We lost the killer bees. You know, we don't have that. We have Ben-roethlisberger. We have juju-smith-schuster. We have James Conner. That kid alone, study James Conner. A Pro Bowl, missed 4 games, beat leukemia. Yeah, I'll take him in the backfield. He's no Le'Veon Bell, but I'll take him back there.
Hey, James Conner is a great story as well. And this is a Chiefs broadcast. But look, Chiefs Kingdom, we need a perspective from an outside source here. And I love hearing these success stories because we have those success stories inside Chiefs Kingdom as well. And look, this is a team that I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. The Pittsburgh Steelers have had the Kansas City Chiefs number, I'm telling you, like our entire franchise history. And with that being said, we're going to go to our next segment.
This is the No Look Pass, brought to you by Sean and Keogh Music Solutions, providing everything from simple background audio to complex creative audio pieces. Bring your project to life with Sean and Keogh Music Solutions.
All right, this is the No Look Pass brought to you by Sean and Keogh Music Solutions, and we're going to change it up a little bit here. You know, we usually ask a Chiefs question only, but this is going to involve, obviously, the Pittsburgh Steelers here. But I'm going to throw a question to Jason here. What is the all-time record between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Pittsburgh Steelers?
I knew something like this was coming.
That's why we call this the No Look Pass, my friend.
I don't know. Pittsburgh does have the Super Bowls. Like, we know that. Chiefs have always been good, though. I never ever remember a time where I'm like, hey, let's go play the Chiefs. That'd be an easy win.
Right.
So I'm wanting to say this is going to be a closer number than we think. I don't know. 40 wins for Pittsburgh, 36 for Chiefs.
And, you know, I'll tell you what, like, this is such an odd number. Here's the thing is the Chiefs and the Steelers really have not played each other that much throughout the course of NFL history, and I'm not really sure why. And it's not as close as you think it is. And, you know, this kind of touches base on what I was saying before is you guys have really kind of owned the Chiefs with the, you know, in the history of our franchise. The all-time record between our two franchises is the Steelers 23 and the Chiefs 12.
For both those teams playing in the AFL, I thought there'd be a lot more games remembered or wrote down. And those two teams are those are legendary teams. Like, we're talking old school football. I thought there'd be more games.
Yeah, me too. And when I saw the record there, I was like, well, hey, that's kind of weird. But at the same time, when I do think about the history of the Chiefs and the Steelers, we really don't play each other that much.
I think that's what makes it exciting when we do play.
Yes, yeah, I'll have to agree with you on that one. All right, Jason, so let me ask you this. What's your no-look pass to me?
All right, so you guys came into our house last year and beat us at home. When was the last time that the Chiefs came to Pittsburgh and won?
I firmly believe this is pre-Slash era, pre-Cordell Stewart era here. But then you also had Kevin Green and all those guys back in the day before that. I'm going to have to go with 1994.
You're close.
Yeah.
So this number was way different than I thought, too. Like, I asked this question. I'm like, well, I have to Google the answer because I didn't know.
Right.
The last time the Chiefs came to Pittsburgh and beat the Steelers was 1986, prior to last year. Like, that's a huge deal. Like, you guys, we chopped that off. Like, that's the thing you didn't want to lose that game last year. Like,
No.
So, to me, that goes back to what we've been talking about all night. That's where your Chiefs are at. You guys took down a 32-year-old tree and said, no, we're done with that. You know, now let's start again.
Ooh, very true. And I like that. I didn't even, 32 years. Yeah. Wow. Look, Kansas City, I was the age of 2 the last time the Kansas City Chiefs beat Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh before last season. And to me, yeah, that's a big deal. That really is something. And I don't want to say it got overlooked. I'm sure there's quite a few people in Chiefs Kingdom who understand the significance of, well, beating the Steelers anywhere, let alone at home. Man, that's a crazy stat. Okay, so with that, I'm kind of dumbfounded, but I'm left at a loss for words. But I'm glad we ended that streak this past season. And so with that, we're going to go on to the season preview. And to our followers, you know what the season preview is. We break down a team and the schedule every week. And now we are on week 11 with the LA Chargers. And it's moving into the later part of the season. And, you know, it's a kind of an easy transition here into the Chargers back in our division. But I want to ask you, Jason, what do you think of the Chargers here? Because I'm sure a lot of people in the AFC, especially AFC West, realize that there's some big things happening in Los Angeles, and this is a Chargers team that I don't think anybody's seen in quite some time.
This is a scary team. They can go toe-to-toe with teams. You know, they got weapons. They've got young weapons. They've got Phillip Rivers. This guy is, you know, I'm a Ben-Roethlisberger fan. Phillip Rivers came in the same year. I mean, I can't take that away from that guy. He can sling the ball pretty good with the best of them.
He can.
So when we talk about who replaced the Chiefs has got to answer back with points, this is a team that's going to answer back with points. Like, I believe the Chiefs-Chargers game this year, both games that could really set the pace for both teams. If the Chargers were to sweep the Chiefs, that's huge. I don't think that'll happen. But if the Chiefs were to go to sweep the Chargers, that's huge. Like,
oh, yeah.
That could set the division apart, is who's going to win those two games.
Yes. And I have to be honest with you. You know, we've talked about the Chargers in my broadcast here the last few weeks. And the thing about the Chargers is this is a team that I have more question marks with against the Kansas City Chiefs than any other team in the league. And so with that being said, you know, I set myself outside a fan aspect and I turn into an analyst here. When you have a team that's set up with Phillip Rivers, Melvin Gordon, Keenan Allen, Travis Benjamin, and Mike Williams on an offense, you look at Kansas City Chiefs offense stacked up compared to that might be the most formidable offense in the league to stack up against the Chiefs. And with that being said, that's why this game right here is one of my predictions as a loss for the Chiefs, because it's so questionable and up in the air. It's too close of a matchup for me to lean in the Chiefs' favor because you can't win every game. You can't win every game, and I don't think we can sweep the Chargers this year. So I'm going to go with a prediction for this game. I think the Chiefs are going to go down to the Chargers in this game, and it's going to be we're going to have like a 38-37 victory for the Chargers in LA and a Coliseum that holds 100,000 fans. That's the only thing besides Seattle that can really compare to the noise in Kansas City.
But how many of them fans are Chiefs fans too?
Exactly,
the
you're right.
Chargers aren't too happy over there. The fans aren't happy being in LA. Like, let's bring this up. Like, there's a lot of red going to be in that stadium. I promise you that.
Guaranteed.
Those closet Chiefs fans have been kind of quiet. They're coming out. Like, you're going to see a Chiefs kingdom a little bit everywhere, I believe. So,
I believe that.
And once LA gets settled in, maybe that'll go away. Right now, the Chiefs could really go in there and they could do their thing. The Chargers are a scary team. Melvin Gordon's on the fence with the team. Pay me or I'm leaving. We don't know what Phillip Rivers you're going to get. We've seen bad Phillip Rivers. We've seen really good Phillip Rivers.
Yes. And that's what, I mean, and you are right about that. But here's the thing with this whole scenario. As I look at this, as there's more question marks, as I look at every other team on the schedule and I say, okay, the Chiefs can beat this team hands down. They don't stack up against us defensively, offensively. So when I look at a team that has this much talent, I look at it and I say, okay, this is a team that can potentially beat us, I would say 3 out of 7 times. And I need to look at this team as somebody, as a formidable force because we're not going to beat everybody. I feel like we're going to have a division loss, and it's going to be the Chargers. But hey,
that's a tough one. I get what you're saying. I understand it. As a fan of not that division of football, the Chargers are the second best team in that division, and I think there's a big step from first to second, and I think there's another big step from second to third.
yes,
And I do believe Denver's in the basement. Like,
thank God.
Denver's got a way to go before they get where they need to be. If I'm wrong, wow, I'll be really shocked. And I'll admit I'm wrong, but you guys got Denver, we got Cincinnati. I think both teams are needing a little bit like a rebuild or a kickstart.
Yes,
They could surprise both of us, though.
yes, and you're right about that. So tell me, let me ask you this. We are in week 11, head into the playoffs, right there on the cusp. And this is a huge game, a huge divisional game, and it could really change an aspect of a team like yours or set it up for Pittsburgh Steelers. So tell me, what do you think will happen in this game?
There's a lot of what-ifs.
Yes.
Week 11, who's still not injured? Who's injured? Yes. Where's Melvin Gordon? We know Patrick Mahomes is going to be rolling. There's no doubt in my mind Patrick Mahomes is going to be on a key. I told you earlier, we've seen two different Phillip Rivers.
Right.
As a Chiefs fans, you guys have really seen it more than I get to acknowledge it. But
yes,
we know that Phillip Rivers can throw the ball around, but we've also seen Phillip Rivers throw fits. So
yes,
and the Chiefs can rattle them early, and Mahomes can get on top and keep that defense guessing. I'm a firm believer in the Chiefs need to win that game.
we do.
That's not a game that you want to win. That's a game I believe the Chiefs need to win. Not for playoffs, just a peace of mind so you guys know how good you are. If they can knock the Chargers off twice, that puts every other AFC team in the... If you're a playoff team, you're nervous now.
Right.
If the Chargers get swept by the Chiefs, the Patriots, the Steelers, the Browns, Ravens, all them other powerhouse, Indy, Houston, whoever it may be, you now put the Chiefs as a top-tier team. Like, we're not going to have fun playing this team. We're going to struggle. It's going to be bloody. It's going to be physical. We don't want this.
And you're right about that. And that's something in Chiefs Kingdom where we think about this. The Kansas City Chiefs have kind of had Phillip Rivers' number throughout his career. But in a scenario like this, you're right. You're 100% right. You sweep a team that really has a great defense like the Chargers do. That is a huge, huge wave that you ride into the playoffs. And yes, that scared any other team, especially some of these top-tier teams that fall to the Chargers.
Now, I do want to state that we're talking Phillip Rivers Chargers, and I really think we should turn this into what the Chargers have built on defense, like Joey Bosa, Melvin Ingram. I saw this kid play against Pittsburgh last year. Derwin James, this kid's a highlight reel. Like, we're not Chargers fans. I don't want to sound like we're like. Derwin James is a real deal. Mm-hmm. This kid, when the Steelers played him last year, he was all over the field. I don't care if been through to Juju, been through to Antonio Brown. When the tackle came, it was Derwin James.
Right.
I opened my eyes big time because Joey Bosa was the guy we were all wanting to hear and see. But when I heard us Derwin James was a rookie and he was doing these things, I'm like, wow, this kid's the real deal. So, Mahomes is smart. He'll figure this kid out. He'll figure out the rush. They're going to blitz. You don't put Bosa on the line and not have him coming in. Like, the Chiefs will have their hands full, but I just think the coaching staff is so much smarter. I think that's where the win will come from. Andy Reid, he'll have that Denny's menu in hand, and he'll call the right play. Inside joke.
He said the Denny's menu. I think everybody in Chiefs Kingdom could understand where he's coming from there, and that cracks me up. Instead of the 24 toss power trap, he's got the Denny's menu. I love it. That cracks me up. But I think he could absolutely be right about that. That could set the Chiefs apart, and we really do have a great coaching staff. And look, this is one of those things that for me, I'm just going off of, out of all the teams that we play, this is one of the toughest. And I feel like if we're going to lose one, and I don't want us to lose this game or ever lose against the Chargers or AFC West opponent, but I feel like this could be one. Now, would I love to ride out with what Jason's saying? Yes, because he's brought up a lot of good points about that. And we do have Phillip Rivers' number. And so with that being said, you know, you heard my prediction. You've heard Jason's. I want to move on to playoff predictions because we're in Week 11 of the season preview. We're getting ready to head to St. Joseph here for training camp, and preseason is going to start. So let's talk about playoffs. I want to hear your predictions of what would you say is the seeds in the AFC for the wild card week and the playoffs. Where are we stacking up here in the AFC? Because this is interesting.
The AFC is very interesting. Like, I think we could put 6 people in a room, and all 6 people could come up with 6 different answers to this question, and all 6 answers would be viable. Like, okay, I can see it.
Yeah.
I hate this. You guys hate this, but the Patriots are number 1 still. We know they are. I'm not saying the Chiefs aren't number 1 coming up, but they won the Super Bowl last year, so the Patriots are the number 1 team.
Yep.
I gotta give them respect. They're going to be there. They're going to be the AFC East leader for the next year or two. Someone just needs to take them down a peg. Chiefs, Steelers, whoever it is, it's coming.
It is.
Those Tom Brady days are numbered. We all know it. We all see it. But I do believe, I hate this. I want to see a Steelers Super Bowl, let's be honest. But if the Steelers get the playoffs, I think it'll be under a wild card team. If not, it'll be a 3 or 4 seed.
Right.
I think the number 1 and 2 seeds, clearly the Patriots, Chiefs. I'm going to ride with the Chiefs beating those Chargers both games. I'm really going to do this. I think the Chiefs will mess up and lose to the Broncos or something just because they were too prepared about some other big team. I think you guys' division loss will be to the Broncos or to a Raiders team that got away with some crazy calls. I don't think it'll be a Chargers team. I don't know. In Week 11, you need to call me after this game and see where we're at on this prediction. But I really think the Chiefs beat the Chargers twice this year.
I love it. I love it because, look, you're right. If we beat the Chargers twice this season, that sends a huge message to every other top-tier team in the league and really will lock the Chiefs in the AFC West division title for the 4th straight season, which will be huge. I mean, the 3 seasons in a row was already a record for the AFC West, and the Chiefs could very well lock in the AFC West for the next 10 years.
It could be their division.
I mean, it could be extremely ridiculous, and so. I look at the Chiefs being a 1 or 2 seed as well. The Patriots are obviously there. I do see, it's a toss-up for me between Cleveland and Pittsburgh.
But I think it's one of those 2 teams, and it may come down to that could be a divisional game that changes that whole setting. But I believe both those teams go to the playoffs this year. I believe one of them will be a wild card. One of them is going to be the division leader. I don't think it'll affect nothing. Both those teams are going to be good enough to be able to play on the road if they need to. Maybe not in Kansas City or maybe not in New England. I mean, I hate to sound that way, but 1 or 2 teams are really good teams. They're there for a reason. Right. If you're a wild card team, the struggle's real. You know what it is.
Right.
But as a Steelers fan, I've seen this last Super Bowl we went to. We went as a 6 seed. It's not a big deal. We can do it.
Yes.
I think AFC North, AFC West have a really good chance of having 2 teams from each division in playoffs. I'm slamming the Chargers against you guys, but I believe the Chargers can beat most teams in the AFC and the NFC any given Sunday.
Right.
I think the Chargers are definitely a wild card team. I would like to see them in the Browns as a wild card team. The AFC South, what do I say? What young quarterback wants to stand out? What young team wants to step up and take this division?
Very true.
This is a tough division. We have a Nick Foles-led Jaguars with amazing defense.
Right.
We have Andrew Luck, comeback player of the year.
Yes.
Justin Houston. That's a good team. Coaching staff's got it going on down there. Houston. What is Houston going to do? You got J.J. Watt on defense. Sean
Watson, yeah.
Yeah, this kid's amazing. That team could do a lot. The team that I would sleep on would be the Titans. I just don't think they have enough pieces yet.
Right.
I believe they're on the right path, but they don't have it yet. But as an Indiana fan, I'll give Indiana credit, and I'll say Indy gets that division off some close games. They have a stadium. They have a dome. That's a nice place to play. They got good fans around here.
That's another inside joke, Kansas City, but we'll roll with the good fans. But I have to I have to agree with you on your breakdown there. There's a lot of, I will say that the AFC North really lies between Ben-Roethlisberger and Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, what's the kid going to do?
And that's really where that division lies. Every other division exactly where you said it was. I think that everybody's playing catch up with the top two teams here, and we'll really have to see what happens. It's going to be an exciting year in the NFL. There's a lot of great things happening. There's a lot of talent coming into the league. More so, the last 5 years have been really great for the NFL, and I look for that to continue. So anyway, Kansas City, look, that is our show tonight. It is Sunday. You have an entire work week ahead of you. I want to get this out there because it is 7 o'clock Arrowhead time. So I'd like for you guys to check this out before you head in this work week and grind it out. And look, training camp is coming up, Kansas City. So we have all that to look forward to. And it was really nice having Jason come on the show and give us another perspective of football. So, Jason, thank you for coming on the show. I really appreciate it, man. It was awesome talking football with you.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, man, anytime. It's great, like I said, having a different fan's perspective. So, Kansas City, you have a great evening. We will speak with you soon.
From the Kansas City Sports Update Studios, welcome to Kingdom Radio, where we talk about all things Kansas City Chiefs. Brought to you by Arrowhead Update. Join Chris and Richard on iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, Player FM, CastBox, and all third-party applications. Check us out on Facebook platforms such as Kansas City Sports Update and Arrowhead Update. And if you cannot find us there, Google or search Kingdom Radio and Kansas City Chiefs, and you will find us. Welcome to the Kingdom.